Recording in progress. All right, we are live, folks. What's going on? Let's see who we got here. Why won't this turn off? Give me 1 second, y'all. I just gotta get a sound thing together on. Oh, I just gotta get a sound setting together on Zoom. Just give me 1 second here. That's right. So y'all can tune in on the live stream or call into Zoom. For those of you who are tribe members or in the public square, y'all have the link to Zoom. I used to be able to turn this off as a shortcut. What's going on? All right, there we go. So those of y'all who are tuning in on the mic on Zoom, Abdullah, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Folks tuning in on the live stream. What's going on, Miss D? Mark. We got Zoe in here. Delightful Days. We got my mama in here. What's going on, y'all? All right. We got a little bit of a packed house in here. Miss Virginia, what's going on? Good to see you in here. All right. So we're going to get into it this morning. I got a few things to talk about, but wanted to give y'all a little bit of update on the strategy that I'm getting into this morning. And y'all can call in and ask questions on the stream and whatnot also. All right, so y'all can get right on the mic. But there are a few things that I want to go over, right? Because there are some developments going on, right? Our healthcare system is coming apart a bit at the seams, right? We don't know how much longer that system is going to last as we know it, right? So basically, what I mean by that is people's healthcare insurance premiums are going up like 70%, right? Some crazy numbers. Some people even double, right? Because of some policies that were implemented. And, you've got the country, at least here in the US, people are getting worse as far as health, right? So medical debts racking up. And I've experienced this firsthand because a lot of people come to me for help with some pretty major issues. Diabetes, whether type 1 or type 2, high blood pressure, liver disease, kidney disease, autoimmune disease, things like this. And people are not really getting the answers and solutions that they need from our healthcare system, right? So they're just putting out money, and taking more and more medications and surgeries, things like this, right? Get a hysterectomy, get your gallbladder removed, get a kidney removed, get all this stuff going on, right? So it's some dark stuff, right? So, I've been engaged in some very valuable work in that regard for the last, pretty much my whole adult life has been geared towards helping people on their health journey, right? But now we're getting more so into the nutrition and medical side of things. This is ultimately where it leads up to, right? I'm not a doctor necessarily, right? More of a nutritionist, general health coach with an expertise on fixing gut health issues, metabolic issues, hormonal issues, things like this, right? A lot of the stuff I talk about in my content. And so basically what we're living through right now is a methodological crisis, right? And I'm going to talk about what I mean by that in a second. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me put the link in. Got the link to call in. Let me throw that up and we're going to pin it. All right, y'all. So I have pinned the link to call into Zoom if you want to get on the mic and ask questions. All right. Miss Stacy, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Mrs. C. Sims, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Ella, what's going on? Good to see you. That's right, Ella. Reach out, get in touch with me. Give me the update. So, what I mean by methodological crisis, right? For example, let's say you have high blood pressure. Most people who come to me with issues of high blood pressure, right, otherwise known as hypertension, and I will ask, what medications are you on? And it'll be like, oh, I'm on amlodipine, I'm on losartan, I'm on hydrochlorothiazide, all this different stuff. And I'm taking baby aspirin. That's a lot, right? Did your doctor tell you why you're on those medications? And usually the answer is no, right? Your doctor doesn't really tell you why. Oh, why am I taking amlodipine and losartan, right? Why am I taking hydrochlorothiazide, right? What do these medications do, right? And so you could be taking a whole gang of medications and not know why you're taking those medications. You don't even know what they do. And you don't even really understand why you even have high blood pressure in the first place. Did your doctor explain to you why you have high blood pressure in the first place? Well, my doctor said it was genetic, it runs in the family. It's like, it's not really how high blood pressure works, right? High blood pressure is a defensive mechanism. So basically, when your blood either needs to expedite the process of removing something from your cells or delivering something to your cells, that is largely a determining factor of what your blood pressure is going to do, right? High blood pressure is not necessarily a disease or an illness in and of itself. It's a response to something else, right? So this is what I mean by methodological crisis, right? Of like, well, first of all, you have to know why you're doing what you're doing. This is the reason why a lot of the times when I get on here and I talk about strategy, and I really focus on strategy, being very deliberate and intentional about your strategy and having a thorough understanding of your strategy, whatever that strategy may be. Right. By the way, folks, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly so I can make sure I'm talking and having sound issues and whatnot. I should have said that at the top, right? All right. So yeah, 1's in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. And I'll be periodically checking in with y'all to see in the comments. All right, we got 1's in the chat. Kim, what's going on? Good to see you in here. D-Sides, what's going on, brother? So things like this, right? So basically, one of the most important things to understand about blood pressure is you got to find the root cause of what's causing your blood pressure to go up. So for example, if you have a lack of oxygen being delivered to your cells are starved for oxygen, your blood pressure is going to go up. Because now your body is like, hey, we need to rush oxygen to your cells because your cells are dying from a lack of oxygen. And this is what's regarded as oxidative stress, and oxidative stress leads to inflammation. High blood pressure is just a form of inflammation. That's all it is, right? It's an inflammatory response. Your immune system, your nervous system will cause vascular constriction in order to speed up the rate at which your blood flows through your veins, right? So if your blood is pumping faster and moving through your veins faster, then it can ship that oxygen to your cells faster. Once your cells have achieved the right level of oxygenation, that can fix your blood pressure, right? Another one is, let's say you have chronically elevated blood sugar, right? Your blood is saturated with glucose. That can raise your blood pressure because basically your body will increase your blood pressure in order to increase the rate that glucose is either released from your body through your kidneys and your urine, or accelerate the rate at which glucose is sent to your cells, right? So once your blood sugar comes down to a healthy level, well, then your blood pressure will also correct by default, right? Same thing, let's say if your blood is overly saturated with lipids, right? Basically excess fat saturation in your blood. that will cause your blood pressure to go up, right? That'll cause your blood pressure to go up and your cholesterol to go up, right? Those lipids need to be force expedited to your liver, and then your liver will then use the excess lipids to make cholesterol, for example, right? And so as a result, you can have things like excess cholesterol, and then you can also have excess blood sugar, because if you have an oversaturation of lipids in your blood and then you dump in carbohydrates on top of that, the carbs convert into glucose, the glucose gets dumped into your bloodstream, and you get this thick soup of glucose and lipids in your bloodstream, and that will cause your blood sugar to go up. And if you sustain that set of circumstances, you end up getting not just high blood pressure or high blood sugar, you also get high cholesterol and high triglycerides, right? Which are also synthesized in the liver. So you have this massive decongestion of your blood. And if that's the case, your blood pressure would just be chronically elevated over a prolonged period of time because you have these underlying conditions that cause that issue. If you're taking a blood pressure medication that is basically like, let's say, for example, you have an ACE inhibitor, right? Or you have an ARB medication. ACE stands for angiotensin converting enzyme, right? That's what ACE stands for, right? Angiotensin is a hormone. There's angiotensin 1, angiotensin 2. And these are hormones that are released from your adrenal glands. You have angiotensin 1 as an inactive form, and then you have angiotensin 2, which is an active form. And the angiotensin 2 acts on your vascular tissues, causing vascular constriction, which elevates your blood pressure. So you can take an ACE inhibitor, which reduces or inhibits the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2 in order to stop the vascular constriction, right? Then you have something called ARB, ARB, right? Which is angiotensin 2 receptor blockers, right? And that basically, that prevents your receptors from responding to the angiotensin 2, thus causing the vascular constriction. Okay, right? So these things basically, it's all like, oh, we just have to stop the angiotensin 2 from having an effect. That's what these medications do. Here's the problem. The angiotensin 2 is not the cause. The angiotensin 2 is a response to another underlying condition. An ACE inhibitor is not going to improve your blood sugar, right? An ACE inhibitor is not going to prevent the accumulation of lipids in your bloodstream. It's not going to fix that issue. So if your issue is a result of excess glucose or lipids being stockpiled in your bloodstream, those things are not going to fix that. So you can say, well, you could take like a diuretic, right? You can take like some type of diuretic that expedites the process of producing more urine so that you can urinate out more, let's say glucose, right? And you can urinate out more nitrogen and things like this, and this can bring down the levels of glucose saturation in your blood. You could, but the problem is it doesn't work that way with fat, right? You're not urinating out fat, right? Lipids. So if you have this excess accumulation of lipids in your bloodstream, well, you can't urinate your way out of that, right? It's a dietary issue. So you can take a cholesterol medication like a calcium channel blocker or something like this. Sure, but then that leads to other issues. For example, lightheadedness, dizziness, joint pain, things like this, other forms of inflammation. Because now if you're going to inhibit the process of cholesterol formation, things like this, in order to prevent, like, let's say atherosclerosis or something like this. Okay, well, these medications don't fix that because you still have to deal with the oversaturation of lipids in your bloodstream, right? So this is what I'm talking about. People never really have these conversations with their doctor. So they don't know how any of this stuff works. So then you go on YouTube, you find somebody like me who talks about these things mechanistically, how they work. And they go, oh, now I have a much better understanding how these things work. And they're largely a result of what you're putting in, right? If you're accumulating lipids in your blood, that's because of what you're eating, right? If you're accumulating excess glucose in your bloodstream, it's because of what you're eating. And it's not a matter of, oh, because you eat too many carbs. People don't have high blood sugar because they eat too much carbs. There's no evidence at all to support that. But a lot of people, their doctors would tell them. So now basically you're not getting the information that you need, and you're paying the copays, and you're paying the health insurance, and your bill's going up. So you're paying more money to get less answers, and you're paying more money to get more medications that's not producing the results that you need. This is a fundamental issue that is impacting our country at large in a major way. And this trend is not reversing, right? So what do we do about that? We got to get educated, and we got to improve our methodological processes, right? We got to have a much more concrete understanding of what's going on. But let me get into this meal prep. And I'm not ragging on doctors or anything like that, because doctors, I mean, you're seeing a lot of patients, you're working long hours, you got a lot on your plate, right? I'm not seeing patients in a clinic and all of this type of stuff. I'm not doing that. My role's a bit different. So I have more of a supporting role. Because one thing I don't do is diagnosis, right? I don't diagnose people. You get your diagnosis from your doctor, and then you can come to me for solutions and a game plan of how to deal with your issues, right? That's more my role. I don't run tests. I don't give diagnosis. I don't advise on medications. I don't do things like that, right? So I stay in my lane. I know my lane. So I offer natural solutions, lifestyle-based solutions, right? That's my whole jam. And for me, I have a fitness background, which is why you're like, hey, this guy knows a lot about fitness and correcting posture and building muscle and healing joint pain and muscular imbalances and all of that, but also knows diet and all this. Well, I've had my entire adult life to accumulate education on these things, right? So for me, I'll be 39 years old this November. And I started off as a personal trainer at 18 years old, got certified in corrective exercise, performance enhancement, and all this. And then plant-based nutrition in 2014, right? Started Tribe by Noir in 2014, had a public launch in 2016, and now we're heading into 2026, right? So it's been quite the journey. So I've had decades to accumulate valuable information, right, that can really correct a lot of these issues. And diabetes is one of these things that's extremely prevalent, right? Whether it be pre-diabetes, and I'm going to explain this in a second, high blood pressure, type 1 diabetes, these things are very common. I mean, terrifyingly so. So first what I'm doing here is I'm going to cook up some lentils, some red lentils here. So I'm doing 4 ounces of red lentils. So I'm going to boil them just enough to soften them. So I got to prep some overnight oats and some red lentils here. I'm going to rinse off these red lentils first. And I'm going to mix in some tofu with the red lentils. And then I'm going to make some fruit prep. Oh, you said your birthday's November 7th? There we go. I'm November 4th. So yeah, we're real close together in our birthdays. That's right. Big shout out to the Scorpios. That's right. By the way, folks, like the stream if you like the stream so far. So I am right now rinsing off the lentils. Right. Normally I soak these overnight. So you see how this is kind of like, it's a little cloudy. The water's a little cloudy. You see that? So I got to rinse this a few times until that water's not cloudy anymore. So yeah, basically the whole diabetes thing, the blood sugar thing, I mean, it has been incredibly prevalent. And I've had the pleasure of having a lot of experience at working with people to improve on these issues, right? So folks have been killing it. I mean, I've been having people, they've been dropping their blood sugar numbers by like 100 points, 150 points within like a few weeks, right? I've had people drop like 200 points in their blood sugar within like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean, like really short periods of time. It's been phenomenal. I got water boiling in the kettle. And then blood pressure, you can improve your blood pressure even quicker. I've gotten people to normalize their blood pressure within like a week and a half, 2 weeks. The blood pressure thing, it really depends, right? Because I mean, if your blood pressure is a result of excess accumulation of lipids in your bloodstream, that's going to take a bit of a longer period of time. That's not a thing you sort out quickly because fat leaves the body slowly. It does not happen fast. This is the reason why I don't advocate, tell people, as far as your dietary fats are concerned, typically your dietary fat is going to be around 1 gram to 1.2 grams of fat per kilogram of lean mass. It really shouldn't be higher than that. Most people, especially people with metabolic issues, your dietary fats should be like around 0.75 grams to 1 gram of fat per kilogram of lean mass. The lowest amount of fat that you should consume on a daily basis is a half a gram of fat per kilogram of lean mass. So I'm draining out the rolled oats, by the way. I use these sprouting lids because I like to soak things beforehand. Right, I like to soak and rinse. Soak it and rinse it and soak it. Oh, Mark, you on the 11th? Look at that. My man Mark is November 11th. That's right. We got the 4th, the 7th, and the 11th in here. Who else is a Scorpio in here? I'm curious. That gotta let me know. Who else is a Scorpio in here? Who else is in November? But yeah, so these issues are pretty easy to improve. And I'm starting to put more of a focus on fitness as well. So y'all gonna see in my videos where I'll be showing more of like my meal prep and workouts and things like that. Because when it comes to things like building muscle and improving bone density and all of that type of stuff, that's really important for the journey. Because your diet is really important, but that's only one part of the method, right? If your goal is to reach peak health, whatever that looks like for you, you definitely do need a full spectrum approach. You got to work the fitness in there. You have a whole body covered in muscle, covered in tendons and ligaments and all of that, right? You have all these joints, right? This complex body that's capable of all kinds of movements. We can bike ride, walk, run, swim, climb. We can do all this stuff. So when you're just not really focused on movement at all and you just want to like improve your diet, you're leaving a lot of progress on the table, right? You're not really operating at your best, right? You want to use everything you got. And you're more likely to really significantly improve your health if you're really honoring and taking into consideration every aspect of your health. Right? So that's that right there. It's extremely important. So I know I talk about nutrition and stuff a lot, but even when it comes to things like building muscle is a huge part of reaching peak health. And the reason why is because, muscle is a vital organ. Right? We look at things like your pancreas, your liver, your kidneys, your adrenal glands, right? These types of things. We look at your brain. We look at these things as vital organs, but muscle is also a vital organ. Let me make some matcha tea first. I'm gonna show y'all my golden matcha tea. me show y'all this golden matcha. So I'm doing a teaspoon of matcha. I already did my workout for this morning. My workout was like a good 12 minutes. All right, so we got the matcha there. And then we got the ginger and the turmeric. So my matcha, my golden matcha tea is like the first tea I usually have every morning. And it's golden matcha because I put turmeric in it. Turmeric and ginger. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And then I put a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. So this is really powerful anti-inflammation stuff. This also helps to lower your morning blood sugar, right? This also helps to improve your blood pressure. This increases thermogenesis and increases oxygen uptake into your cells, which goes a long way towards improving your blood pressure, your blood sugar, right? All that kind of stuff, kidney health, liver health, etc. Boom. So we got that. See, I just do it straight. 1 teaspoon of matcha, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, right? So every morning. That's what we're doing every morning. I'm having it kind of late this morning, but you know, not too late. It's still 9 o'clock. I got started on my day early too. I'm tightening up on my schedule. Okay, so let me set this to the side and let that cool off a little bit. And let me see if I got a melon. See if I got a melon ready. You said you made a matcha cookie with toasted almonds, bananas, cashews, and ube. A matcha cookie? That man, I would never think to put matcha in a cookie. So you are classy and sophisticated. Let me tell you, big shout out to you on that. Wow, a matcha cookie. I would have never thought. I'm just checking in on here. Let's see. Juju, is that Juju? What's going on? Good to see you in here. Tuning in on the Zoom. There we go. Look at that. So yeah, basically starting off the mornings with the matcha, and I make these fruit bags. So let me see. I got a couple melons, but I gotta get more. I try to have like 3 or 4 melons on hand. So this one is. So what I do is, in order to know if it's ripe or not, these are honeydew. So I will kind of gently press into the melon and then the bottom of the melon. So the stem grows out of the top here. So I gently press against the bottom of the melon. If it's a little soft, that can show a sign of ripeness. But this is kind of hard on the sides, so I'm not going to do this one. So we got this one. One is a little bit softer on the sides. So this one is a little more ready to go. Right? So it's got some give. Because you don't want to cut into your melon too quickly, because then it ends up being like crunchy. You don't want crunchy melon, or at least I don't. I want my melon to be soft and juicy, right? So I'm gonna cut into this bag this up. So watermelon season, it's kind of over with at this point. So now we got to default to our cantaloupe and honeydew. So that's what we're doing here. All right. Actually, you know what? Before I get into this, because I got to show y'all, look at this. I got a nice ripe kind of golden pineapple here. Y'all see this? This thing is beautiful. We're going to get into this because I'm going to have some pineapple today. What I like to do with pineapples too is I like to juice pineapple. And I roll it like this here so I can soften it up. Get the juices flowing, right? We don't want no hard fruit. Unless it's like an apple or something like that. Apples are meant to be kind of hard. I think like apples are like the only kind of fruit really that's meant to be hard. What other kind of fruits are meant to be hard? I think that's about it. Because apples are supposed to be a bit crunchy. So it got a nice, beautiful... Pineapple's supposed to be more yellow, but we don't really get them like that. At least not here in the States. But, you know, hey, we get it however we can get it. All right. I like to use pineapple juice too as the juice for a pre-workout drink. So I'll juice like 12, 16 ounces of pineapple, and then I'll add in some taurine, citrulline malate, creatine. And you can also, if you have like a liquid B12 shot, like a liquid B12 drops, you can add some liquid B12. So you run the pineapple through the juicer. So like I have a juicer over there, right? A little juicer. It's nothing crazy. It's a little one, right? But it gets the job done. And so I'll make my pre-workouts like that. But I think today I'm gonna get like a good, 4 to 6 pineapples. I'm gonna get a few of them, so I can have like some pre-workout juice for the week. So every morning, and if I can't do pineapple or I don't have pineapple, I'll do a grapefruit. So I'll juice grapefruit. Right, that's another one. See, this pineapple too is nice and soft. It's not hard, right? Because when pineapple is hard, it's all like fibrous and stuff. It gets stuck between your teeth and everything like that. You know what I mean? So that can be a little annoying. And then also, if it's not ripe, it can be a bit much on your teeth, on your gums, right? So it'll leave your mouth a little sore. Some people have that issue. So I like to pair pineapple and grapes together. So I'm gonna do this here. That's one bag. Because I'm gonna do 2 meal prep bags. I like to do these quart-sized bags for meal prep. So you could just grab and go bags, right? So I try to make like 3 or 4 of these a day. So fruit bags throughout the day, and then a salad at night, and then finish off the day with an avocado and 4 ounces of nuts and seeds. So that's the methodology as far as the diet plan I've been going with. And then when I'm out of fruit, I'll use that as an opportunity to eat more cooked foods. Right, so that's what's going on there. You said you just cut up cantaloupe, about to cut up my last watermelon. Yes, right. You still able to get watermelon where you at? How's the watermelon looking over there where you at? Because we off in October now. It's pumpkin season. So like me and my lady got to go to a pumpkin patch. All right, we got to go like an apple orchard or something like this. Get a whole gang of apples and whatnot. All right, so now we've got the pineapple bag. And the grapes. So we're gonna fill up the rest of this bag with some grapes. And it's not gonna all be grapes. I'm probably gonna add in like a grapefruit with it, right? Because I'm kind of low on the grapes now. And then while I'm cutting up the melon, I'm gonna put the lentils on the boil. You said you got me on the avocado sunflower seeds as a meal. Oh yeah, avocado and sunflower seed, avocado and nuts in general. And let me tell you something, if you're trying to like fix like your hair, skin, and nails, avocado definitely is one of those foods that should be in your diet. You can eat like a whole avocado a day. There's some avocados I got too that I could show y'all right quick. Uh-oh. I got a compromised grape there. That one ain't no good. You gotta watch out for that moldiness, y'all. We don't want no furry grapes. All right, so now I'm gonna fill the rest of that up with, let's see, what can I put? So I'll do a grapefruit. So I gotta get more too. And I'll be looking at these food prices and I'm like, man, these food prices about to have me start doing some alternate day fasting again. I like these food prices are unreal. So yeah, every day, this is what I get into here. And let me tell you something, when you pack, like, if you're doing like a fruitarian style approach, this right here is like one of the easiest things you can do. I mean, you don't even need to cook. You just have like these quart-sized Ziploc bags, and you can just fill them with your fruits and stuff. And you can make an overnight oats, which I'm about to show you in a second, and put that in a mason jar. Right? Or you can do like a coconut yogurt or something like that. Which your coconut yogurt is about to be one of those things too that I do on stream. All right. So put that in there. And you just focus on filling up the bag. And typically when you fill up the bag, it'll be like around 24 ounces, 27 ounces, something like this of fruit, right? So basically almost 2 pounds per bag, right? So basically if you eat 2 of the bags, you get like 3 pounds of fruit a day if you're eating 2 of these bags, right? If you're eating 3 of these bags, you're getting like almost 5 pounds of fruit a day. All right, so based on how fruitarian your diet is, this right here, super easy to do. So you can just get like a variety of different fruits and fill up the bag. So this bag is filled up for the most part. I'll add in a few more grapes. Ricardo, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in here. So I can still add in a bit more because I try to fill up the bag to the point where it's like really packed to the brim. But I'm running out of grapes, and grapes is one of those things. It's like a big foundational fruit that I add to these bags. So I usually get like 10 pounds of grapes at a time or so. Okay. So you see what I mean here? We get it tight. Really pack the bag in. Squeeze the air out. Boom. And so that's it right there. And so if I weigh this bag, this bag is 33 ounces. So this is actually 2 pounds of fruit in this bag here. All right. So basically, if you had to get, let's say your goal was to get 300 grams of carbs a day, this one bag could make up like a good third of that. I got water on my glasses. So this can make up like a little bit more than a third of that, of your carbs for the day. I'm gonna put that in the fridge. And let's check in with our lentils here. Because these, I'm gonna boil these. Okay, I think that's good to go. Usually I soak the lentils for a bit longer, but I didn't soak them last night. So now we enter the lentils into the pot. And now here's what I do. Because when you're boiling your lentils, these boil quick though. It's like in a matter of a few minutes. But you don't want to add too much water. Because if you add too much water to the pot, it's going to take longer for your lentils to boil, and then you also run the risk of the lentils boiling over. Right? So then they end up making a mess on your stovetop. All right? And if you have a gas stove, that's going to be a bit of a headache, because then you got to lift the burners up and all that and clean underneath them. So I pour out as much excess water as I can. So I want like the water to just be covering the top of the lentils. And I put it on a really low heat to keep the lentils from burning. Right? These are probably going to take a bit longer to cook because I didn't soak them for as long. But that's fine. Sometimes it'll take like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. It depends on how long you soak them. So I put it on a real low heat, right? Because I don't want to cook the crap out of stuff. All right, so now we got pineapple, and we'll do the rest of the grapes. And I think we can add like an apple to this. So that'd be like a real kick in the mouth, but this would be like that gut health meal. So pineapple and an apples together, that's a lot of good prebiotic fiber for your gut. You get a really good bowel movement out of this too. It's a good detox food also. It's a good detox meal. Pineapple is good for digestive enzymes also. So if you've been dealing with a lot of gas and bloating and things like that, pineapple could be one of those really good foods to help resolve that issue. Because of the bromelain. All right, and that's all for the grapes. There ain't no more grapes, that's it. Actually, yeah, there's no more grapes. So now I'm gonna add an apple. You don't want to go crazy eating too many apples at one time. Because it's real fibrous. Right? So you start with 1 or 2 at a time. Right? You can probably eat like 4 apples in a day or so. But you don't want to do too many at one time in one deal. Because if you're not used to all the fiber and whatnot, it could be a bit much. All right, so there we got that there. Now let's add in some oranges. Little tangerines. So we'll see, we do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll see if 4 of them is enough. You said pineapples are $4 each there now? Wow. I've had the watermelon for about 2 weeks. It isn't very sweet. So you're gonna add garlic? Cracked black pepper? Yo, I would never think to add garlic to watermelon. Yo, you brave. I'm telling you, I'm like, dude, I don't really like to mess with watermelon too much. The most I'll do with watermelon is maybe like a little sea salt and lime juice. Lime or lemon juice with watermelon. Right, so that's more so along the lines of what I would do with that. But yeah, garlic, black pepper on a watermelon. Yo, let me tell you, see, this is the thing with y'all chefs. Y'all are scientists. I mean, the level of sophistication, because y'all will mix stuff, and then when you mix certain things together, they don't taste anywhere near like when they're by themselves. For example, like I got burdock root powder, and when you mix like burdock root powder, peanuts or peanut powder together with like sea salt and vanilla flavor, it tastes like chocolate. Burdock root doesn't taste like chocolate on its own, but when you add certain things to it, then it tastes like chocolate. It's crazy. So now I make like a chocolate smoothie using burdock root. So it's like you don't even need to use cacao. So I have cacao too, but if you don't have cacao, you can use the burdock root. And I'm a big fan of burdock root. It's an amazing detox root. So you can have it in teas, You can put burdock root in your food, you know. You can get it as a powder and put it in your smoothies. It's phenomenal stuff. Burdock root is phenomenal too. If you got high blood pressure, you got kidney disease, burdock root is a big deal for those things. By the way, folks, if you want to book a call with me or join the tribe community to get access to my high raw vegan guide, my fasting guide, my training plans, as well as the member exclusive live streams, right? You can hit links in the description for all those things. Right, you can become a tribe community member. You get access to the full playbook, right? The full play, what to eat, when to fast, how to train, recipes, all that type of stuff. Which I'm not really necessarily a recipe chef kind of. I'm not really. I'll leave that to people like Ella, but I'm the man with the plan. So if you want to know how much of something to eat, what foods to put in, you know, what all that type of stuff, the specific strategy. That's what I got. Or if you just want to book a call with me, you do a 60-minute call and we go through some actionable plans of what to do in order to resolve your issues. Right? So links for those things are in the description of this video. All right. See that pot's starting to heat up a little bit, starting to get a little bit of action going on with the lentils. I'm gonna fill up this bag. I'm gonna go ahead and check that melon. I'm kind of paranoid. I don't want to rush and cut into the melon. But the thing is I need that melon because I gotta make more bags for my fruits. I'm also going to show you what I do with onion because I put onion in recipes a lot. Like I put red onion in. Right, so my thing is red onion, right? I'm all about that red onion. Right? So y'all know me, I like anything that's pigmented. I always choose the most pigmented things as far as the diet, right? So the more pigmented a food is, the more of a place it has in your diet plan. And the less pigmented it is, you eat it in much smaller quantities. Right? So I don't eat a whole lot of like rice or quinoa or things like that. I would only eat like a few ounces of those things. But when it's really pigmented foods, they can eat like whole pounds of those things. So we filled the bag. And of course, got to press it down. You know what I'm saying? Zip it up. Squeeze the air out. And boom, we got another one. Bag number 2. And we can weigh this right quick. And this is 31 ounces. So basically 2 pounds. So now this is of your carbohydrates for the day. These 2 bags are now a little over 2/3. Right? A little over 2/3 of your carbs for the day. And we got bananas too. So for example, this could be these 4 bananas, and these are kind of green, these aren't really ripe. But 4 bananas, a banana typically is like 4 ounces each. If it's a really big one, it's like 6 ounces. So that could be, for example, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 ounces, 1 pound. 1 pound of bananas is like 100 grams of carbs. All right. So you can get like 4 bananas in your 2 bags of your fruit. And that'll be all your carbs for the day, if your goal is 300 grams of carbs. And then the rest could be like your salad and your leafy green vegetables, your avocado, your nuts and seeds. And if you want a little bit more protein in your diet, because you're doing some intense training, trying to build muscle, you can throw in a protein smoothie if you want. So that's the method. All right. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to go with this melon. So those red lentils are going to come in handy for when I can't get the fruits that I need, right? Or because things aren't right. So I'm taking a chance. I'm taking a little bit of chance with this melon. It could be a bit more ripe. It could be, but we're going to see. You know, it's not... I mean, it's got some softness. It's ripe enough, right? So we're going to see. What's that thing? Okay. Because I keep the seeds. So when I go to the woods, later today, I put the seeds out. I have this spot that I go to in the woods. It's got like this dark, rich soil down by the creek. So I bury the seeds there. I do that just to see what's going to happen. So I might mess around and spring up some some honeydew melon. Right, we might grow a little melon tree out there. Maybe it might happen. It can't just be any old place in the woods though, because some areas the soil is too dry. So if the soil is too dry, it's not going to work. So if it's like some dusty, light, dry soil, that's not going to work. So you need more moisture, and then also you need something where the roots of the other nearby trees are not going to steal the nutrients from whatever you're trying to grow. So I picked out a spot that meets the conditions. So we're going to see what happens. So I've been concentrating the seeds in this one particular area. This is one of the things too where I want to acquire land with some good soil, because I would just grow some fruit trees right on my property. I would have a food forest at the house. You know, weather conditions and soil permitting. You know, sit outside, drink my tea, and watch the deer come through, snoop around and be nosy. You know what I mean? Throw them some berries.
So are you
Oh,
going to show us some pictures of your plantings that you do?
well, there's nothing to, well, I mean, as far as pictures, there's not really a whole lot to see. It's just putting the soil. I can show you all the pictures of what am I doing? I can show you all the pictures of the soil that I'm talking about. Right? If you want to see that, I'll post that in the community when I head out there, because I'm getting out there today. So I'll show y'all where I put it in the area that I pick. That could be a good content idea. I need to be more content minded. You know, I gotta get my social media influencer brain on, because I've been doing a lot of things and I don't record a lot of it. You know, let me check in with y'all on the Zoom chat. Hold on a second. Red onion, basil, also good on watermelon. Oh. Good to know. All right. So yeah, so I got the seeds ready to go. I'm also going to save the seeds that I get from other fruits like grapefruit and oranges and things like that. Probably even apple seeds. Just have a bunch of seeds out there. See what happens with those. Actually, this honeydew feels good on the inside. I can tell it's gonna be some pretty good stuff. See, those lentils and whatnot essentially are like backup. That's a backup. Because the other melon that I have that's not ripe yet, I don't know when that's gonna be ripe. And then if I get like some more pineapples, I don't know what's gonna be with those. So when things aren't ripe, like those bananas, then I'll default to foods that are more cooked. I haven't really had much of an interest for the cooked foods lately, though. Personally, I think like I ate one cooked meal last week, so I didn't really have much in that regard for cooked foods last week. I'm officially up to 151 pounds. So after my alternate day fasting strategy that I ended early September, I ended it at a weight of 143 pounds, and I'm now back up to 151. And I've been holding at 151. So definitely feel a lot stronger, gaining some muscle mass. Oh, by the way, D, how you doing? How you feeling? Give me a quick status update.
I'm feeling okay. I'm just having little bit of issue with my blood pressure. I'm not my blood pressure, but my blood sugar trying to rise a little bit.
Oh, you dealing with some seasonal allergy stuff? Because I've been getting a little sneezing
Yep.
going on too over the weekend. So I
Yeah,
was
the
like, oh, I know.
scratchy throat. Yeah, the itchy eyes. All of that, and then all of a sudden the blood sugar went up.
Yeah, so the little inflammation going on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I was like, why the hell am I sneezing so much over the weekend? It was like over like 2 days I was having sneezing fits.
yeah. I made some golden tea, the turmeric and ginger with the milk. So
Got
yeah,
you.
yeah. I used the oat milk. I didn't know if it would have been better with the almond or not, but I just use the oat.
There we
So
go.
it's helping a little bit with the itching and stuff, and my blood sugar is coming down. So I'm happy enough with that.
There we go.
But I did wake up at like before this, so
Hey, Juju, you able to get on the mic right quick? We gotta have some checking in. What's going on, Ricardo? I throw all my fruit skins and seeds in my yard. I get lucky with avocado and mango seeds because they show to grow fastest. My melon seeds show to grow quicker, but died as quick too. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. So these lentils are done. So we can turn that off there. That's right. Miss D, how's the hip doing?
the hip is doing a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm actually out here walking now.
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's right.
Yeah, I'm doing a little, yeah, or a little faster, so it's doing okay. See,
There we go. Don't push it
he
too
doesn't
hard. You
want to
take it a
do the
little bit.
surgery. Oh no, I'm not pushing it. I'm trying to lose the weight so I don't have to worry about it. Because
Yeah, I hear
he's
you.
the doctor that would rather you just take the vitamins and stuff. So
Got you. Okay.
yeah, but Other than that, I'm walking a lot better now.
Here we go. All right. We like it. We like it. You back up to your 7,000 steps or you past that?
I'm up to about 7 to 8,000. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So basically, like in another week or so, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, we get back up to that 2,000. I mean, 10,000.
I hope so. I'm trying. I'm trying to make it.
All right, so this right here, we got 27 ounces in this bag. All right. So we got one more half of the melon to go. That's a good idea to bring the Ricardo. What you mentioned about the rind of the fruit, like the fruit skins and stuff. I should actually bring the rind to the woods, huh? Not just the seeds. I should do the whole package. So now I'm considering, you know what I'm saying, bring more of them, the material, so to speak. See if we can get something growing. Boo boo. So when I'm done with this, next up is going to be the overnight oats. My pumpkin spice overnight oats, inspired by Miss Ella, because we know how much you love pumpkin spice. We know how much you love pumpkin. All right. So I'm almost done with this here. So yeah, basically, if you want to get them blood sugar numbers under control, you want to drop some body fat, you follow this methodology with the fruit bags. This will do it. This will get you there. It's a sure shot. So I'm cutting these into smaller pieces to try to get more in the bag. Because that last bag was 27 ounces, so I'll see if I can get more. I want to get like that full 2 pounds in the bag. We'll see if we can get there. We got to make the most of these bags. This is actually like, you got to try this, just cutting fruit. It's some big time therapy. You get like a good knife. And the thing is like when you cut into like your different fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, they like release like a beautiful smell. So you get like this aromatic therapy. How do you say aromatic? Aromatic? How do you say it? I feel like I'm not saying that right. But y'all know what I mean. I'm telling you, you wanna pick up your mood, bring some peace into your life. This type of prep will do it. I've been using the fruit bag method. It's simple, but it's really helps me track my fruit intake. Yeah, I mean it's incredibly easy. You know, I'm all about simplicity because these issues can be fairly complex, but we can offset the complexity with these simple methods. So this right here could be like a good first meal of the day. Starting off with that melon. So when you got hormonal imbalances, when you've got skin issues, blood sugar issues, get hydrated in the morning with this melon. You drink your tea first, because that tea is the fast-acting anti-inflammation. So you bring down whatever inflammation you wake up with. And then you get hydrated with the melon, because it's like 90% water. Right? So it's not particularly calorically dense, but it's an abundance of potassium, vitamin C, so you get real hydrated, so that boosts oxygen uptake to your cells. So let me tell you something, that really does wonders for bringing down inflammation. All right. So we're going to have to, this is a little bit of a puzzle here we got to sort out in order to close the bag. I got it. I just gotta be patient. And move it around a little bit. But you gotta be patient too, because you don't want to bust the bag. All right. Boom, we're good. Okay. So we got a bit more in this one. So let's see. Let's weigh this one. 30 ounces. All right. So we got a bit more in that one. So let's see if we can return to this one and get a little bit more in there. So what we're going to do with this one is we got to be a little bit more strategic. So we're going to cut these in smaller pieces. All right. And then we're going to try to close it back up. Press the air out. Urban, I say, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Good morning. And let me tell you something. If you have kids, you can send them to school in one of these bags. All right. And this bag now is 31.8 pounds. That's what I'm talking about. So you got 2 kids. There's 2 of those. Let me tell you something. The fruit is one of the best things that you could eat for your kids if you really want to set your kids up for longevity and healthy life. Fruit better be like a big staple in your kids' diet because, and let me tell you something, if you want your kids to be smarter and get better grades in school, make sure their diet is water rich and carb rich. Okay? And get them on a diet with a lot of folate. All right? So that papaya, the mango, the melons, right? Get them on that. The avocado. Avocado is a really high folate food, and folate is really important for brain development. Right? So people are like, oh, what should I feed my kids? What kind of diet should I put my kids on? That brain food. And the next thing I'm about to show y'all too is you can have your overnight oats for your kids, especially if your kids are athletes. So this meal right here that I'm about to show y'all is really good for that. All right, so okay, I'll deal with that later. So this right here is 5 ounces of rolled oats. So that's been soaking. All right. So this rolled oats, this is going to be like a good 40 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and like 23 grams of fat. Right? So this is also like a really good, this is like a good second meal of the day. Right? So you prioritize hydration first, and you get something real energy dense afterward. So we're going to add in the hemp seeds. And this right here is an abundance of omega-3 essential fatty acids, zinc, magnesium, and protein. Also a good source of copper. And the oats are a really good source of selenium, zinc, magnesium, manganese. Good source of B2, B1. Oats are a really good source of copper also. Did I put 2 tablespoons or 3? I'm over here talking, I'm not counting. I think that's 3, right? just for good measure, I'll put an additional one. Did I put 3 or 2? Y'all let me know in the chat, because I'm over here running my mouth and count. Let me see if y'all told me over here in Zoom. Oh, the rinds and the peels and stuff are good fertilizer. True. That's right. Yeah, so the golden matcha, I put 1 teaspoon of matcha, I put a quarter teaspoon of turmeric and a quarter teaspoon of ginger. All right. So now in the rolled oats, this is 3, possibly 4 tablespoons of hemp seeds, because I wasn't counting, and I messed that up. And so now I'm adding powdered peanuts, 2 tablespoons. And then I add some creatine to it, 5 grams of creatine. I don't know of anybody else who does this too, but this is the thing I do. I'll throw that in there. You don't have to add the creatine, but it is highly beneficial, especially if you're trying to build muscle and all that. So I'll throw that in there. All right. And so now, here's where we make it taste like a birthday cake. So I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of raw sugar because I like the sweetness. I don't avoid sugar in my diet. I mean, personally, we don't do that. We don't do the whole avoiding sugar thing. We don't do that. 1 teaspoon of sea salt. You don't have to put that much sugar. I just like to do it. For me personally. 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice. And then I do 2 drops of vanilla flavored liquid stevia. All right. And then I'm going to add a little bit of agave. I'll make do one of those. Just a little ring. Oh. And then just add some plant-based milk, not a whole lot. Probably like a few ounces. Something like that much. And then let it drip down to the bottom. And I'm going to stir it in a bit to mix everything in. Yeah, that's right. The Naked brand. I use that stuff. The Naked Pea protein, the Naked PB Fit. I mean, the Naked PB, the creatine. Yeah, that's my. They're gonna have to give me some type of. They're gonna have to give me some type of affiliate link or something like that. They're gonna have to give me a sponsorship for this promo. All right. So we get the spoon. Oh man, I see I got a little too aggressive with the spoon. So we mix everything in the bottom there. So you know how like people have Cheerios in the morning? Or like bran flakes or whatever in the morning? You can just do rolled oats instead. Right? You add your hemp seeds and all that into it. You can also do this with kasha. When I get kasha, because I'm gonna place an order for a few pounds of kasha, and kasha is like a good breakfast cereal too. Kasha is a very rich source of magnesium. So yeah, kasha is good stuff. Kasha is toasted buckwheat groats. All right. So there we go. That's done. So you put the lid on that. Boom. And we got our overnight oats ready to go. So now I'm almost done. All I got to do now is prep these lentils. And I got to keep my counters and whatnot clean. I don't want to make all kind of mess. So y'all know I like to wipe up. So we don't have all kind of stickiness and mess going on. All right. So I'm adding tofu to the, can I do it this way? I'm adding tofu to the lentils. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to use the knife for this here. Oh, wait a minute. No, I got it. Look at that. Didn't even have to use the knife for the pack. There we go. That wasn't a clean break. That wasn't it. All right. So this is like a good 7 ounces of tofu, like 7, 8 ounces, something like that. Got the blender here because I'm going to make a sauce. All right, so need a spatula. So there's no excess water in here. I don't know how long this took to cook. I think like 10 minutes or so. Right. So you see when I didn't put much water in here, and you see it don't burn, it don't stick. Nice and smooth. There's not a bunch of water in the bottom of the pan and in the bottom of the pot. So that's why I do that water measurement like that. Low heat, minimal amount of water in the pot, and let it slow cook for about 10 minutes or so, 15 at the most, and you're good. The more water you put, the longer it's going to take to cook, and you run the risk of it boiling over and making a mess. So you see the pot didn't boil over, didn't make a mess on the stove, so it's less cleanup for me to do. All right. And put the tofu in there. Make a nice little high protein sauce. And that's going to be my spicy taco sauce that I'm going to add in there. Yeah, my tea got cold on me. So now I need tomato sauce. Check my fridge to see if there's an open one before I go and open a new one. All right. You can also throw like a Roma tomato or something like that in there. Or you can use tomato paste. Whatever you prefer to do. So I just add about like a good half cup or so of the tomato sauce, not a whole lot. So I'm going to add in paprika, taco seasoning. Oh no. Nutritional yeast, garlic powder, turmeric, basil, sea salt. I'm running out of space here. Raw sugar, onion powder. I got to make a pizza sauce one too. I still haven't done that one yet. On stream. So I actually have to do the pizza sauce one. I'll do that at another time. All right. So now what I'm going to start with is the nutritional yeast. We're going to put that in first. 2 tablespoons of it. Yeah, by the way, Ricardo, how you doing? Give me the update. How goes the journey? All right. Taco seasoning, we do 1 tablespoon. And now I need the teaspoon. Paprika, 1 teaspoon of paprika. Why do other whole food plant-based dieters vilify oats and tofu? Honestly, I believe you've talked about it before. But can you break down the goods and the bads on it? Yeah, so a lot of the times too, and this is the reason why I don't really watch a whole lot of, I don't really watch other influencers, because they just repeat other stuff people say. Right? So like, for example, with the tofu, where people will say, oh, well, tofu, you should avoid it because it's high in estrogen. So like, you know, the implication is like, you should avoid, you know, it's going to make men have high estrogen, and it's going to lower your testosterone and give you man boobs always. There's no scientific data behind that, but it's a thing people commonly say. But when you look at the data and the research, it shows that that's actually not true. And the estrogen molecule that's in something like tofu is a phytoestrogen. And phytoestrogen is pretty much in all plant-based foods, but it's a plant estrogen molecule. It doesn't affect the hormonal profile of mammals, right? So there's a conversion issue. And phytoestrogen actually helps to regulate or block excess mammalian estrogen, right? So there are benefits that shows that something like tofu is actually protective against certain sex hormone, sex-based cancers, for example, breast cancer, right? Or prostate cancer, right? Things like this, testicular cancer, right? So the data shows there's actually a benefit. And then the thing you also run into is about if you're going to say, oh, well, you should avoid tofu because of the estrogen, or what about all the other plant-based foods that also have phytoestrogens? And then, you know, if you're going to be in a men's health magazine saying that, well, what about beer? Because beer is made from hops, and hops are even higher in phytoestrogens, right? So, you know, it's just these things that people say. Now, when it comes to oats, people will say, oh, well, you know, the oats is of the herbicides and things. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. All right. I almost put that in and didn't say. So I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. Yeah, so as far as the oats, people will say, well, you should avoid the oats because of the pesticides like Roundup or glyphosate or whatever that's used. Right? So it's like, well, if that's your concern, then just make sure that you get your oats from farmers that are not using glyphosate on their oats, right? And this is a thing you can look up online to see. There's third-party testing and things like that. Onion powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Right, so you can see, so for example, I use Bob's Red Mill, or I'll use Nature's Way. Is it Nature's Way or Nature's Valley or something like that? Is Nature's Way? Okay, yeah. So I use that one. But also, interestingly enough, the data shows that the soluble fiber, or just the fiber in general, in oats actually binds to heavy metals, microplastics, and these pesticide molecules, and they bind them up and actually removes them from your body through your fecal matter. So you can actually decontaminate your body of these different pesticides with oats, right? So even like things like PFAs or PUFAs, these forever forever chemicals, they call them PFAs, right? And oats help to remove these things from your body as well, right? These forever chemicals, they call them. Basil, I'm adding the 1 teaspoon of basil. All right. You know what I'm gonna add parsley. I'm gonna make a last minute amendment. Okay. So yeah, so the oats are actually beneficial for that. Oats are a very rich source of selenium, which is really good for like thyroid function, adequate levels of testosterone, to estrogen, and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, there's really no downside to oats. Now, if you can have like an allergy to oats or something like that, maybe you have like a food sensitivity to it, that's really the only reason why you should avoid a particular food, is because of that, right? So some people, they have like a food sensitivity. 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and I added in 1 teaspoon of parsley. Right? So you can have weird reactions to a food because you have a sensitivity to that food. But if that's not the case, then, you know, there's not really much of a reason to avoid it. All right. Then there's an argument that people make where say, well, tofu can be harmful to women with thyroid issues because of the goitrogens, right? In estrogen. However, there's no data to actually demonstrating that. There's not really data that bears the negative effects of that out. Now, if you were eating tofu without any other foods, just in a vacuum, you didn't eat any other foods throughout the day, maybe, but that's not how people eat. It's like how people talk about the complete protein thing. There's no such thing as an incomplete protein, right? It's just like, nobody looks at like, no one looks at a car engine and say, oh, that's an incomplete car. No one looks at like a tire and says, oh, it's an incomplete car. Or the frame of a car. It's, oh, it's an incomplete car. Right? Nobody says, oh, that's an incomplete carbohydrate. Or, oh, that's an incomplete fat. Nobody says that. But then when it comes to like a protein, oh, it's an incomplete protein. It's like, well, no, either it's a protein or it's not a protein. Just like when people say things like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't eat beans because they contain anti-nutrients. It's like, it's not a thing. Right? This whole anti-nutrients, that's like a propaganda term that people made up. It's not like a real thing. Right? Because when you ask them what an anti-nutrient is, it's like, oh, well, an anti-nutrient is a food that is a chemical compound that blocks the absorption of a particular nutrient. Right? Then you could say, oh, well, it's like a regulatory thing. It's not like an anti-nutrient. It's not really how it works. It doesn't neutralize the nutrient. It just regulates how much of it you absorb, which is a protection because you don't want to absorb 100% of everything in a food that you consume. Right? So people fundamentally don't understand how absorption rates work, right? Like more is not always better. It can actually be very harmful, right? But then when you mix foods together, you have foods or chemical compounds within foods that increase the absorption rate. So for example, you can have a food that's high in iron, right? And your body tightly regulates iron absorption, right? You can, however, let's say you have leafy green vegetables, high levels of iron, lentils, high levels of iron. if you add in something like bell peppers, right? Bell peppers are high in vitamin C. So if you add bell peppers in, and like cucumbers, also good source of vitamin C, and you add those into the meal, adding vitamin C to a meal with foods that are high in iron, they can increase the iron absorption by like 80%, right? But nobody ever says peppers are a pro-nutrient. Nobody says that. So you use the term anti-nutrient, but nobody ever says pro-nutrients, right? So like you got to be wary of like these propaganda terms. It's like how people use the term estrogen. Oh, that food's high in estrogen. Well, what kind of estrogen? Xenoestrogen, mammalian estrogen, phytoestrogen. What kind of estrogen are we talking about? Right? Just like there's different types of estrogen in the body. Right? Oestrogen, estradiol, right? These different types of estrogen. So people tend to have like this overemphasis on certain words, or this oversimplification. And the oversimplification, it leaves a lot of important details and nuance out of the discussion. So you end up putting out information that's not really that accurate or useful, right? Because you're not giving the complete picture. 1 teaspoon of turmeric. I usually put a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, but I'm adding in a little bit more, right? So this is gonna be like a really hearty, medicinal kind of sauce we got going on here. So I'm over here running my mouth and running out of time. All right, so now I got to put in one more thing, because I got to put in. Uh-oh. I just have trouble putting this thing on here. My blender lid is broke. It's broke. All right. So now I got to add in cumin. So with the cumin, I'm going to add in. This stuff's real strong, so I'm not going to add in too much of it. I'll add in a 1/4 teaspoon of it, because the cumin is real pungent. Oh, that's right. Where's my cayenne pepper? I got to put cayenne pepper in here. That cayenne pepper is the real deal. Hold on. All right. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, y'all. All right, that about does it for that. So those are all the seasonings and whatnot I'm putting in there. So this is a high nutrient, spicy, savory sauce. All right. Now, however, I do got to add a little water to this because it's a little thick. Right. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water there. Slosh it around a bit. All right. And put this in the blender. All right, so I got to mute up my mic a little bit so I'm not blasting y'all ears. So let me see if I can get this right.
Yes, it's muted.
All right, see, I muted correctly this time. There we go. I'm still struggling with my cervical instability. I'm still eating high raw fruits and some cooked foods, all whole food, plant-based foods as possible. And getting prolotherapy, PRP therapy too. Okay, got you. Have you noticed any improvements from following that strategy? Like you could still be having the struggle, but are you seeing like any type of progress on it, or things are pretty much at a standstill? Dale, let's see, on the ADF, do you eat in excess on the Sunday eating day, or do you slate at maintenance? I don't know what that means. At maintenance Sunday and then go back. Yeah, so I don't eat on ADF. I don't eat in excess on Sunday. So yeah, I eat at maintenance on Sundays. That's generally what I would do. Because typically on ADF, I would eat on Sunday and Monday. So those would be 2 back-to-back eating days. All right, there we go. Where is the jar? Here we go. All right, so now, oh, this smells so good too. God. Okay, let me tell you something. That's gonna be a real treat. And so that sauce, I can put this sauce over a salad. I can make it into a soup. There's a lot of things you could do with it, right? You could put it in the pot and add soup to it, mushroom, wash, all types of stuff to it, sunflower seed kernels, right? Greens, so you can make a soup, a stew. You can add rice to it. You can pour it over rice. There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. So it's very versatile, right? So I prep like 1 or 2 of these a week. And boom, that's the prep right there. All right, now let me hurry up and finish this up. And we'll get y'all out of here. Yeah, so we're doing these streams every week, Monday mornings, and then we got the Tribe by Norm member exclusive, like our last Thursday group coaching call. For members, we did daily mobility. So we went through a mobility workout. How to improve posture, how to improve hip mobility, shoulder mobility, core stability, right? All that kind of stuff, right? So we alternate. We go through live workouts or meal prep. We go through live Q&A, right? Group coaching call where we chat, crack jokes, share our progress, our journey, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's a good community event when we get on the call every Thursday. So we do that every Thursday, 7 p.m. And then I put up the replay also for anybody who missed it. So you can rewatch it back. And then I also have the 12-week mentorship where we do weekly one-on-one calls. You know what I'm saying? So you can, if you need more accountability, you need somebody, you need support on the journey, you're new to the journey, we do that as well. And if you do personal coaching, I make your diet and your training plan. And we do the weekly calls and you get access to everything else that the community members get also, right? And if you want, we can also record the coaching calls and then put the coaching calls up in your personal coaching plan, right? So if you're like, hey, you know, can we record the coaching calls and then add them to my coaching plan? We could do that as well. All right. So let me know if you want to do that when you sign up for the 12-week personal coaching. So there could be like little individual one-on-one seminars and whatnot. right? So when you come to the coaching calls, make sure you got all your questions and things ready to go so that we can have a really, really value packed call that will then have a lot of replay value. All right. Let me get a lid together. So yeah, all of that is in the link in the description. So look at that. We got a lot of sauce here. Look at all of that. So this right here is like a good 40, 45 grams of protein in here, 45 grams or so. And this sauce. All right. So you can dump this whole thing in a pot, add mushrooms, pepper, cucumber, squash, greens, onions, whatever you want to add. You can pour it over rice, or you can use it as a dressing for a salad, and you can use only like just a little bit of it at a time as a dressing. A lot of things you can do with this. All right. You can add avocado to it. That taco one tastes really good with avocado. You said not the blender, the juicer? What about a blender or juicer? What did I say? What kind of juicer is that? Oh, what kind of blender is that? Got you. It's a Ninja blender. It's the Smart Sense Ninja blender. So that's what that is. All right, y'all. Got to jump. It's time for me to get to work. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I'll see y'all on the next one.